Okay, this is a factor by grouping, which means we want to group two similar terms. I see that this has a W, that doesn't, and that doesn't, but this has a W. So what I would do is I would change the order and I would put the W terms together and then these other terms together, because you're going to actually see they have something in common. And so looking at these first two terms only, I can see what they have in common is a W squared. So I would factor out a W squared, and what I would have left then is a 2 plus V. So in other words, when I factored out a W squared, so in other words, that got factored out, what's left is the 2 plus V. Now this next set, I can see what they have in common is I could factor out a 5. So if I factor out a 5, of course, all I have left is a V. And then 10 divided by 5, meaning factoring out a 5, I would have a 2 there. All right, so that's what we're saying when we're saying we're factoring it out, is we're basically dividing both of these terms by 5. Now, if you notice something really interesting, those are the same, right? Because you can turn them around, V plus 2. So out of this whole thing, let's factor out a V plus 2. And so what do you have left? You just simply have the W squared plus 5 left over, which would be your final answer. And you could check this if you wanted. You could go through the trouble, again, kind of like why I like algebra so much is because I'll know if my answer's correct. I could FOIL this. I could do V times W squared, which is VW squared. So let's say this is my check. Very messily that says check. I can do V times 5, which would be 5V. I can do 2 times W squared, which would be 2W squared, and 2 times 5, which would be 10. So as you can see, these all match, and I ended up with what I started with.